What's up, guys? Welcome back to episode 2 of the 2001 YZ125 build. In this episode, we're actually going to be tearing down the engine, seeing what went wrong inside of it, and seeing what we need for this bike. So we're going to go ahead and tear this bike, we're going to go ahead and tear this engine all the way down. We're going to go ahead and split the cases, check out everything, and see what we need. Check out the cylinder, make sure the piston, or see what happened to the piston, I should say, and just check the overall condition of the crank, the transmission, all the bearings inside, the water pump, all that stuff. So we're gonna do a real deep dive into this engine, split it all the way down. Let's see what we can do.
So the first thing I gotta do is drain this oil, and as you can see, this drain plug is all sorts of boogered up with RTV. So I'm gonna have to scrape that off and yeah, drain this oil out.
Well, that was easy. I didn't expect it to just pull off like that. Oh boy. All right, step one is an extremely over-torqued drain plug. Oh, jeez.
I am not liking the way this is looking.
I can't even tell you what in the heck happened. I mean, that's the crush washer, which is very crushed, and then there's another crush washer with a big old gap on it, so no wonder why it was leaking. Okay, so while the rest of the oil's draining, I'm gonna go ahead and pop off this clutch cover. Case doesn't look too terrible inside. Definitely a little dry, that's for sure. I'm honestly very excited to rebuild this engine because I really do think it's gonna be the most sick engine I've ever built. Go ahead and pop off these clutch packs. Plate doesn't look absolutely terrible, that's a good sign. But I bet these baskets and plates are absolutely shot. Surprisingly looks a lot better than I thought it would be. Although this is just a completely different clutch pack on the top. Huh, still replacing it though. All right, let's go ahead and bend our keeper away. I don't have an inner clutch hub holding tool yet, so I'm just gonna have to kind of try and wing this one and probably end up hurting my hands really bad. I don't recommend that, but in a pinch, it can work. Not terribly worn, some grooving, but surprisingly not too bad. This is the one I expected there to be a lot of wear on, and there is. You can file these down, but geez, I don't know. And what I want to do with this bike, I might just end up replacing this because that's pretty bad. I'll have to see. I'll have to try it. That kickstart needs some love. Doesn't look too bad. This here is that case that has damage where the clutch cable sits. The actual eyelet broke off. So this case is gonna have to either get repaired or replaced. I'm thinking replaced since they're so cheap. Looks like a stock reed cage. Pedals surprisingly don't look that bad. So just a quick tip for you guys. If you guys do want to check out the condition of your cylinder, there's two ways you could do it without pulling the head. One way is by pulling off the reed cage and checking out your piston through here. You could turn the bike over and you could actually see the back side of the piston. Another way to do it and I can't really show you right now since it's on the stand, but you can look through the exhaust port and you can also see the piston that way. So that's a really quick way without pulling the head or the cylinder to check out the condition of your piston. It's not, you don't get a great view at it, but you get a good enough view at it where you can determine that your piston is in fact bad. So now we're gonna yank this head off here. Make sure you don't drop any of your copper crush washers down in the cylinder. Definitely had some pre-detonation going on by the looks of it. Not the worst I've seen, but definitely not the best I've seen, but definitely some pre-detonation going on there. I think it's time to pull the cylinder off. I've actually never torn down, or no, I have rebuilt a YZ125 engine once, but this is my first time actually tearing one down, especially of this year. Release, you demon. We'll have to get some good shots of the cylinder. But in the lighting right now, I'm not seeing terrible damage, but we'll have to put a really good light on it and check the cylinder out. But after looking at this ring, it's definitely apparent why it lost compression. It looks like the ring actually seized right in this spot here. Walls don't look terrible. Check out the crank. 0 up and down, a little bit of side to side, so that's perfect. Sweet, crank seems good. There is a little bit of coolant down there, and I don't recall spilling any. So that's something interesting we'll have to look into. Okay, sorry, I'm slightly disoriented now because I had to work on a bracket for the new GoPro that I got, and it was dying pretty soon. So anyway, I think I was right here. Let's go ahead and get started on this. Start disassembling this side of the engine. Oh, mama. I genuinely believe the Incredible Hulk worked on this bike because everything is way too tight. Also guys, I am trying to figure out how to really use this GoPro efficiently right now, so if there's anything weird, like maybe a field of view change or a bad angle, I do apologize for that, but I am just trying to kind of figure this thing out. It's my first time filming with it. I just got it for Christmas. Speaking of which, I hope every one of you had a wonderful holidays. Wonderful Christmas, I mean. I know I did. It's been very busy, and I'm excited to just be back in the garage. Finally, tearing down this 01 YZ125. Let's go ahead and pop this stator cover off. I also hope I have a puller for this flywheel. I should have planned ahead a little bit better. I really hope this works. I don't know if it will or not, but I don't have the flywheel puller I need. And the right thing to do is order it and wait. Unfortunately, I'm too impatient right now. So I'm gonna try something. And if this doesn't work, I'll have to order it in. Well guys, victory is a dish best served cold. Well guys, I think it is time to split this case. Oh God, got parts flying everywhere. Okay, so now it's time to start pulling all these bolts, split these cases. Also, when doing this, I highly recommend triple checking you got all the bolts before you start beating on the cases or trying to separate them with a case spreader. Okay, so I don't have a case spreader. And also, another side note, definitely wash your engines. I'm planning on actually washing all these separately. I feel like I do a better job, so that's why I haven't. And all these internal parts will be very deeply clean. But anyway, I don't have a case spreader, so I'm gonna try to do this the old school way, and hopefully it works. Oh my gosh, really? That was easy. take that as a win, got the whole transmission. The bearings all seem okay, but since we're this far down, we're gonna replace them anyway, especially this crank bearing. But other than that, they feel pretty good, which is a good sign. It's a very good sign. Let's take a look at this side. Try to see if we can get this gear set out in one piece. Check out this side of the case. Ooh. Crank was definitely pushed into the side of this case here. I've actually never seen that before. And maybe it's missing a shim and the crank's got too much play that way. I'll have to look into that. Bearings seem decent. Crank bearing is definitely, or crank seal is definitely shot in that. Wow. Not too bad. Let's go ahead and kind of check out this transmission here. Make sure we don't have any gears chewed up. That one seems okay. Little bit of wear on this one. Not terrible. Good. Okay, this one checks out, looks good gear wise. Usually when you got stuff chewed up, it tends to be on this side. That one looks good. Looks good. And good. Sweet. Looks like our transmission is A-okay. Okay, let's check out this cylinder. Well, good thing is I don't see any big scratches or gouges. No cross hatching. Let's go ahead and throw a bore dial gauge on there and see what that tells us. Okay, so what this tool is, this is a bore dial gauge, and basically what this does is it'll tell you if your cylinder is out of round, meaning egg shaped like this, besides a circle, and it'll also tell you if you got too much taper. Now there is a spec that this can sit in, but what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna measure this cylinder in 3 points this way, and also 3 points this way. And that'll tell me if I have either A, too much taper, or B, too much out of round. And if that's good, if that's within spec, all I can do is just hone this cylinder and it'll be good to go for a rebuild. So let's go ahead and see. And with a 125, it's pretty difficult to get your tool in there. And what you want to do is you want to rock your tool back and forth till you find the lowest point. Your lowest point being right here. You want to move your gauge to zero it out. Double check. Make sure you're not going past your zero, which I'm a little bit off. You want to be right there. Perfect. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to measure it at the top here. Rock it back and forth. Make sure it doesn't go past that zero, which we're good there. We want to step down about to the center of the bore, which is hard on this because it's got the power valve, so you got to be real careful where you're going. Little bit of taper. Pull the measurement from all the way down below. Helps if you don't get stuck at the power valves like I am. Now we're going to go ahead and measure this the opposite way, which now my reading is way different. Hold on a minute. Hold on, guys. I don't think this tool's working very well for this. So I'm going to try using a telescoping gauge to check the out of round, because the bore dial gauge has acted funny and it's really hard to measure with the ports. So I'm going to try this. What this tool does is you take it, you spin it, and then these come out. Then what you'll do is you'll lock that in and you'll take a micrometer and you'll measure. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to go ahead and take our mic now, measure this distance. Be mindful not to move the telescoping gauge. We've got about 54 millimeters. So let's try it the other way. We've got 54 millimeters again. So that's telling me that this cylinder is not too bad out of round. So I believe if we just give this a light hone, our cylinder will be good. Well guys, that is gonna do it for this video on the teardown of the engine. Everything doesn't look too bad. Cylinder is checking out okay. We need that one case, and the transmission looks good, crank looks good, piston we noticed was shot. The reeds don't look too bad. Other than that, everything in the engine actually looks pretty good, so it's definitely worth saving. I'm definitely gonna have to clean up these cases really, really well because we've got some big plans for those. That'll look pretty sweet. But thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this teardown of the engine. Be ready for the rebuild of this thing. It's gonna be way better, way better. It's gonna be a super sick build. I cannot wait. But other than that, thank you guys very much for watching. Stay tuned for next week. Next episode will be coming out on this bike. Thank you guys. Hope you enjoyed.